Hey guys, Sean C. Phillips here with Herb, Dweebo, Gina, and Lulu. And we're here to review two movies. Well, you two didn't see the first movie because you would have been scared shitless.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not
And you wanted to see it, Dweebo, but we knew better. Because you even had to leave the fog.
You were scared in the fog.
Just the fog.
Well, that was way back when.
So we knew better than taking
I
the
liked
hit.
Haunting in Connecticut, kind of, but I preferred the documentary version of it.
That cheap
Cool.
documentary?
Yeah, that was
You
scary.
preferred that?
Yeah.
Well, we're here to review James Wan's new film. What's the name? Insidious.
Insidious.
Oh, yeah.
Insidious.
See if you can say
See if you
it.
can
For
spell
some
it.
reason I keep on thinking Insidious or something. It's Insidious. Now, what does Insidious mean? For the life of me, I don't
Do
know.
I look like a dictionary?
I don't know. So
Why
I was
don't you go
wondering,
look it
actually.
up?
I'm not sure what it means.
Look it up.
But let's give the plot of the movie.
I'll look it up while you
The movie's
were...
directed by the
Yeah, you
person
look it
that
up.
did
We
the
don't have
first Saw
anything to do.
film, Dead Silence, and Death Sentence.
Yeah.
Dead Silence was the really creepy one with the dolls. Remember that
I like
one
that
with
movie.
the dolls?
I like that movie.
That
a lot.
one I like, and that one was one of the other ones where I would say was one of the last movies that really was creepy too.
Right.
And I thought this movie was on the line of creepiness as Session 9.
It was.
It really was. And some people said, "Oh, Session 9 wasn't creepy." You need to pay. If you pay attention to Session 9, it's creepy as shit. But the plot of this is a couple, like a family, move into a new house, and they start hearing noises. And it's not just like the typical haunted house one where you've seen this all before and it's not scary. I mean, the scares in this keep coming and coming and coming, unlike anything in a long time.
They were more jolts.
Jolt
I mean,
scares.
you really literally did jolt in this. But remember, the one dude was from Paranormal Activity.
No, the producer, not the writer.
Right.
The writer wrote Saw and some of the other movies.
Right. But there was enough of that
That
Paranormal
kind of
Activity
feel to it.
vibe.
That vibe.
And it also felt like old Outer Limits. It felt like
Twilight
Zone. It
and
felt old.
The Changeling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it felt
yeah,
like
yeah.
Byrne Offerings, about all those old school, like 70s and 80s and even 60s feels.
Absolutely.
And some people said, oh, the opening credits and closing credits were just like...
I got the definition. Insidious means to act in an evil way to carry out something with no intentions of the outcome being good.
All
There you
All
go.
right, that's
Well,
pretty
thank
simple.
you.
So that's Insidious.
That only took you half
But
an
you
hour.
totally
No.
cut me off on what I was saying, and I forgot what was I just saying.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't important.
Yeah.
Now, the movie stars Patrick Wilson from Hard Candy and Little Children
Right.
and The Switch he was recently in. He's
Right.
really good.
I like
And
it.
the kid that played his son in this played his son in Little Children as well.
What was that
So
little
that
piece of trivia?
Yeah, it's a little bit
Like
of
I should
trivia.
give a
It's a
rat's
minute.
ass about
But
that?
basically,
Unless
though,
I was the kid's dad, I wouldn't care.
okay. But then the one kid goes into a coma. Basically, he's not waking up. He goes to bed one night, and they don't know what's going on. And months go by,
Right.
and then 3 months later, they start really experiencing these weird things in the house, seeing people. And the ghosts are not like typical ghosts, where there's these weird, sort of cheesy ghosts. They're like 1920s people that you would see on the Titanic.
Right.
That's what they kind of look like to me. Or Ghost Ship.
Right.
This is way better than Ghost Ship, though.
Right.
But it had those kind of people.
Well, there was nice little quirky touches too. Remember, this guy was from Saul, so he was the father. In the little boy's father was a teacher. So there was a scene in his school where there was a blackboard, and someone had done a kind of a rough drawing of the Jigsaw character on the blackboard, and I thought that was a really cool touch. It was a little like Hitchcock putting himself in the movies. Here was this great little drawing of Jigsaw. I thought, yeah, that's really kind of smart. It was a very smart movie. And again, we went to it. You know, you go to this shit, and you know what it's like when you go to the late movie. Sean and I went to the late movie.
Mhm.
There's always full of jackasses,
Making
and
noise,
they all want to talk
getting
back.
smart. And
Yeah, they all want to laugh
And
and
at
talk
first
back.
they were doing that. The first 10 minutes.
10 minutes,
Then
easy.
once it started picking up with the scares,
And getting scared.
they all stayed in their seats and were quiet.
Dead quiet. Dead quiet. And that was the sign of a good film.
It shows that Dweebo's not interested at all. He's just texting on his
He's
phone.
texting.
Yeah, he's
I'm
texting
tumbling.
his breakupping and stuff.
Yeah.
But when they moved to the one house, I don't want to ruin all the details, but eventually things get so bad with seeing these things, they bring in a ghost hunters with like the character from the Poltergeist, you know,
Right.
Cow Ann.
Did he look up anything like that greasy guy from the Ghost Hunter show?
No, the
Like
one
weirdo
ghost
guy?
hunter was the
They were
writer of
little
the
coat
film.
and ties.
The other guy,
okay.
I'm not sure what else he was from.
They look
with
kind
the
of
beard.
like, what you call it, the Dweeb Squad. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
the Geek Squad.
The Geek Squad.
Yeah,
That's what they look
but
like.
the great
Yeah.
Lin Shaye was in the film as the psychic would you say medium, or what would you call her?
Yeah, she was sort of, I mean, I really liked her. She was great.
She's been one of my favorite character actors for years. She was in Adam Rifkin's Detroit Rock City.
Well, that's
She's
cool.
been in a lot of stuff.
Something About Mary.
Something
Remember?
About Mary.
The one that got like all
Kingpin.
sunburned. Yeah. No,
she
she's
did
great.
Like I said,
and this was a breakout thing for her. This was a big,
really
role
good
for her.
part for her.
Yeah.
And I hope she gets more stuff like this, because she was really good in this.
I hope so too.
I hope she does more horror stuff.
But I loved at the end of this film the music, and they flew up.
And the music was old
Insidious.
school too, like
it was
real
old school.
Violins and loud
and you
stuff.
can't even say 80s. It had some of that Hammer films.
70s more.
It had, it really was a welcome. And people are like, oh, it's scary as Poltergeist. Well, Poltergeist scared me. I didn't like that movie that much,
No.
but I like this much better than Poltergeist.
And I thought I don't want to ruin it, but the sequence with the red demon. There was a scene when you see the lair. I don't want to say what it was like, but that was really well done.
It was very.
Was it as scary as Exorcist?
It had elements of scare. As
That
the
was the scariest thing I've
Yeah,
ever
but
seen.
remember, The Exorcist had a lot of religion and dogma.
Damie.
Yeah.
This wasn't the same.
There was no
thing.
This was different. This
Did you
was
see it?
more
No.
like spook, scare.
I'm not into the
you
scary
know.
stuff.
And I don't think people are going to think of Tiny Tim the same after
I
this.
know.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim, you mean Tiptoe Through
Tiny
the Tulips?
Tim's
I don't
music
I don't
appeared
think
in
they're
the
gonna.
film.
I don't think they're going to think of him the
What
same.
what
ever.
song do you remember?
I don't know.
Tiptoe Through the
And
Tulips.
Oh,
Tiny,
okay.
Another bit of fun fact was Tiny Tim was in a really bad low-budget horror film right before he died. I think
Oh, I
Blood
didn't know
Harvest,
that.
and he was like a serial killer or
Oh,
something.
that's cool.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't
people
know
don't know about it. That was
That's
like a little
fine.
weird thing he
That's
did.
fine.
Did
But I
they
would
ever see your little film you did the Tiny Tim music?
Oh,
I
now
don't
that
think that's
was
online
funny.
anymore. I did that a
That
long
was
time
good.
ago.
That was good.
But I would definitely recommend this to people. I personally think that out of horror movies, it's been one of the better horror films in a long,
It was
long
definitely
time.
one of the creepiest that I've seen in a
In
long
a
time.
long time.
And I never get scared. I mean, I get scared by lots of stuff, but I don't get scared by movies like that.
No, but this one I
Yeah.
actually felt scared.
Absolutely.
And, I
Absolutely.
watched so many of these things, and this one was actually creepy. And I'm sure some people are like, oh, from the trailers, it doesn't look like it would. The problem, I think, was the trailers, it's too hard to promote a movie like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Last
And really
movie
show what it is.
That I was really scared by it was good though. Remember, it was like House of the Devil or something. It was on like demand.
Did you
Is that
watch
real?
that?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. And this
That
had
was
a
cool,
similar
but that was
kind
had
of
religious
feel to
stuff,
that,
too.
but I think this one was
The
much
guy in the
more
beard
scary.
reminded me of A.J. Bowen from House of the Devil.
I
a
can
little
see
bit.
that. I can
But
see that.
now let's get on to the other movie we saw. But what would you
Win-win.
say for stars, though? I would give it 5.
I don't give much 5.
Yeah.
But
It was perfect. It was great.
It was 4 stars, I would say.
Her hair is blowing up my nose.
She's Lou.
I know. She's
Now
shedding
we're going to
and
go on to
everything.
the other movie that we all saw together tonight.
Sean likes to
Adam.
call him Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
And
it's
and-
Win-Win. And we saw
Yeah,
it in a
Win-Win.
real 80s theater, though.
Yeah.
It was an 80s.
It was
It's
like
called
this
Win-Win.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
this real 80s.
Limited release.
It is.
I thought that
it
was funny.
AMC's indie thing.
Yeah, before they had this flashing thing that said indie done right at AMC theaters. I didn't really like that because it was like.
That's all right.
Oh, well, what do you
But,
it was better
before-
than that theater next door that was that small.
The Abraham Lincoln Theater.
No, there's
No,
a
the
one
other
right
one.
nearby, too.
We
It
were
was a
worried
small
at first though because all of the like preview stuff and commercials they showed before were all tinted green, like the hue and saturation was completely off.
And that theater
And-
needed to take down that poster for Apollo 13.
'Cause that's
they're
been
still
moved or
advertising,
whatever.
and that's not coming out till January now. So they need to get it together in there.
No, they weren't.
Anyway, I
100%.
felt like that was one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
you say
excellent.
that all the time. Jen.
No, I don't. I really liked it. It was a good story, and
It
it was
was.
just, it had everything about a movie that I liked.
It had the same feel as that James Gandolfini.
Now let's explain it. It's about
I'll let you explain it, because I
okay.
keep talking
It's about
too
a
much.
teenage boy. I think he's 16, and he discovers that his grandfather lives down in New Jersey. He's from Ohio, but of course he's sort of in like a halfway home because his mother's a drug addict,
She's at the
and-
drug place.
and she's with this boyfriend who
He never
really
even
He
met
never even
his
see-
grandfather. Remember?
Yeah,
he
so
never
he
met
just
his
sort of-
grandfather.
met him by like a fluke
They were
of trying to
estranged, right.
Yeah.
change his life a little bit, and so he goes down to New Jersey, and when he's there, he goes to the grandfather's house, he goes to the address, and of course no one's there because Paul Giamatti
Put him
in a home.
in a home, and
in
he
a
was supposed to
retirement home.
represent him, but he ended up putting him into a home.
Well,
Because
he's,
he couldn't-
he's a
yeah.
lawyer that was representing him and said that he would take care of him, but actually put him in a nursing home and was taking the money every month because he was in pretty
To be his
desperate.
legal guardian.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he, Paul Giamatti is also in the film. Besides just a lawyer, he coaches a wrestling team, and it's not
I
very.
never figured that out. So because I thought that you'd have to be like a
Teacher? No, I don't
coach
think so.
wrestling.
I think because that's like a gym.
So they just let
teacher
random
thing.
people coach teams?
No, I don't.
No,
think that's the
I
case.
think he had been in the wrestling
For a
team.
while,
Yeah,
and since
yeah.
he was
Oh.
on there, and
It's
basically
probably alumni.
Something
the
like
team was sort of not really doing too hot or anything.
Terrible.
And he brings the kid along to one of the tryouts,
It's hard
and
to
then he
explain.
says,
Yeah.
"Oh, you
We
know,
don't need to
I'm."
explain it in such detail that goes
No,
on for 10
that's too
minutes.
much.
No.
But
No, I'm
he
not.
goes on
Very
there.
But long story short, he's a great wrestler. He's
And he
the
helps
best
the
that's ever
team
been on
along.
the team.
It's,
So
it's kind of like another form of Ladybugs,
It's a
but
total
different.
It's a total character study. First off, how can you possibly go wrong with Paul Giamatti? You know, I mean, he has always been
I
excellent.
loved him in Storytelling.
American
That was it.
Splendor, everything. I mean,
And
you
the other
know.
guy
He's been, Ethan, he was in the great
Well, how can
Big
you
Fat Liar.
how can you go wrong with
I like
somebody
Big Fat
that
Liar.
is fat?
I'm
and
blue.
bald?
I know.
Fat and bald, fat and bald.
And,
Fat and bald is a great thing.
And what I wanted to say was, it reminded me of that Sandra Bullock movie, Blindside, which I also liked, but I sort of preferred this because it's just so
I don't
much
think
more
it was
of a...
like I didn't watch Blindside, but I
never
You didn't
Yeah,
watch
there you
that? It's about
No,
this
I didn't
football
watch
guy,
that.
and
he didn't
it's
watch
same
the
kind.
fighter either. Remember?
even though half the people that the Ravens were in that theater I used to work at, I didn't care to see it.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to.
The real guy was in the theater all the time. It didn't. I didn't.
Right.
First of all, the poster was hung up. I kept seeing it.
Yeah, well,
There was a
you
guy's
can't-
butt. And I'm like, I
And
don't
it was
wanna
her
see
butt.
this.
Yeah.
No thanks. I'm sorry. I didn't want to watch it.
It was good.
I'm sure it was.
But anyway, this movie I would highly recommend it.
It had a very kind of Napoleon Dynamite kind of. It was an independent, really well done character study. And what's that guy? The other bald guy with the glasses?
Yeah,
Jeffrey
Tambor.
You know, hey now.
Excellent.
He was
And
so
he's
good.
always good and everything.
He's always good, but I really liked him as this personable character in this a lot.
Yeah.
And who was the other guy with the thick eyebrows, the Studley guy? I liked him.
Oh, his
he
friend.
reminded me of the Adam Sandler guy, but I don't know if it was him or not.
No, I've seen him in other stuff. I like
Yeah,
him.
I like
I like
him
him a
too.
lot.
He's kind of like that guy who was like the pothead in Grandma's Boy,
A little bit.
but I
a
don't
little
think it's
bit.
him.
No, it's
though.
not
He's
him.
like a stunt
No, it's a
double to him.
different actor.
And the boy's bad mother was, she played
The one from
Rose
Heavenly
on
Creatures.
Three and a Half Men.
And
Oh,
I'm
okay.
a cheerleader and stuff. She was in a,
2.5.
I
men.
mean, whatever.
3.5
I don't
men.
know.
it doesn't
That's
matter. That
something
show's
else.
going
We're all
anyway.
screwed up
You
anyway.
know,
Winning.
manly men
Winning.
canceled.
Yeah, no.
Fire.
Winning.
Winner, Sheen dinner.
Dinner. Chicken
Yeah.
dinner.
I take Martin Sheen or something.
I don't think his show's doing too well either. That
Oh,
he
yeah,
sold
that's
out like
nice.
50 shows, and I think he like racked
People
himself
got
Charlie
on
Sheen,
money.
it.
Yeah.
the only Charlie Sheen movie I ever liked was
What are
The
you
Rat.
picking your nose? You can pick your friends. You
No,
can pick your
but
nose,
you know
but
what?
you can't
She
pick your
just
friends'
passed
noses.
gas, and it's like,
She's
Lou.
been farting all along.
She's been screaming.
Yeah, and you'd think with a face
Lulu.
like this, there's not going to be any stenches from that. But of
Oh,
course,
she's-
the
Ew,
worst
it
of the family.
stinks.
She's
terrible.
Fartarella.
Ew, so what do you give this
Ew.
movie's ratings, Herb?
This was another
Ew.
4-star movie. Absolutely.
You're gonna put the chair in front of
Yeah,
the
stop
screen.
messing around with that. What do you
4
think,
stars.
Dweebo?
I would definitely at least give it a 4. I'd say it felt sort of like a documentary at points. I like the music. I
But
like
also
the
a good
character acting.
wrestling. And the kid was
Yeah.
an actual wrestler.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
and
you
he
said.
did a really
Yeah.
good
So
job.
they were really
good.
on the actual wrestling
Oh
stuff.
my God, that's
It
nice.
reminded me, I had a friend in high school who was on the wrestling team who was like crazy about that, about the weight. You had to be a certain weight
Right.
for the class and all that stuff. So
That's not
I
Definitely
could
not
never
bad.
join the wrestling team. They would have to have some other fat wet movie guy there with me,
Yeah.
and we could have wrestled each other.
Yeah.
You'd have to have like
Wrestle
4
in
people
mud or
against
something.
you.
No, you'd been in the unlimited
No,
class.
the sumo.
And they'd have brought it. When I was teaching school in high school, you should have seen this guy that they had on the wrestling team. He was like 25, and he was like borderline, and he was like a monster.
No, he was not on the
And
border.
poor people would forfeit as soon as they saw him. They would forfeit. It's like I fucking give up.
Well, I think it's at least 4
No,
and a half
wait.
stars.
Here, let me tell you about this guy. This is the same guy. And can you believe, I taught in a public high school, and they had an exemplar, which is a teaching example. This guy was trying to learn how to take out his penis out of his fly so he could pee at the urinal. No, this is no shit.
That's like
This
for
is-
trainables.
No, listen. This is a true story.
Is
It was
this-
the scariest thing to go in the men's room and see this man who was like 6'3", and I say man, but he was really 20.
Yep.
And there he was, bare-assed, with his pants all the way down. There's his big bare ass, and he's peeing at the urinal. So they were trying to teach him, and you know what they did? They got a shoebox, and they cut a pair of jeans with a fly out of the shoebox mounted, and then they used a banana, a plastic banana, to try and teach him how to take it out of his pants.
Oh, my God.
That's how screwed up he was, and he was on the wrestling team.
Oh, jeez.
So how about that? So
Herb stories.
Thanks for ending
no
on that
shit,
note, Herb.
no shit. But
Thanks.
and it was a plastic banana, and you should have seen him. He couldn't figure out how to take it out.
Oh, jeez.
But let me tell you
Whip it
something.
out.
I actually saw him in real life, and a banana didn't do it justice.
Oh.
No shit.
Oh, jeez.
That would have confused him, though. If he went to a restaurant or to the market and saw the bananas, wouldn't he be thinking maybe
I don't
take it out
know.
of the bathroom?
I
There's
don't
my
know.
banana.
So let's put it this way: I only lasted that school for 2 years. I should have known what in the boys' room, in the faculty in the room, like where all the teachers go. When they close the door on the bathrooms on the thing, it said "West Side for life, bitch."
Oh,
So that should have clued me in. That wasn't the place for me to go, was it?
Well,
All right.
thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and we'll see you guys later.
Yep. See
And
everybody later on.
next time we'll probably have a new haircut here. It's gotten a little bit bushy and crazy, so probably
Maybe
gonna
I'll
clean
get
it up
a
a little
maybe
bit.
I'll get a new haircut too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I'll
Dye
get
that
a,
beard
get a-
up
yeah.
real quick.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Look like a fucking magician. No thanks. You ever see men that dye their beard? It never
Or
works.
the late Billy Mays.
Well, yeah, it never works.
Yeah.
You look like an
Hey,
asshole.
Billy Mays here from Beyond the Grave.
All right
So,
then.
see you guys
See
later.
everybody
See ya.
later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sayonara.
You didn't say